It's Noyjeetut here with the book review, particularly An Abundance of Katherines by John Green. How beautiful. An abundance. Multiple Katherines coming at you. Let's get into it, shall we? So the book starts off with two friends, Colin and Hassan, and they're going to go on a road trip after Colin has been dumped by another Katherine. I guess this one. And Hassan's just a slacker with no guidance in life. Anyway, they go on this road trip. They get stuck in this tourist trap in freaking Gutshot, Tennessee. And that's pretty much where the story takes off. Now, this is kind of a minor complaint I have, but I really wish they did more of the road trip part, because anyone knows me, I'm fascinated with road trips. Hell, I went 4,000 miles to eat a burger, but it just seems to rush right into getting the story started with other people and everything else, instead of just focusing on those two interacting with random strangers across the great U.S. And I could understand why it takes that route, but I just wish it lingered a little longer on the road trip. Minor complaint, but just thought I'd throw it out there. But they settle in Gutshot, Tennessee, where they meet a whole list of characters, and things happen. There's love and lust and fights. There's a fight scene. There's some very beautifully depicted hot mamas, love theorems and archdukes, antisocial tendencies, and old people telling stories. It's a fun book. I like to read. It was really cool. When they get there in the Gutshot, they're able to get small town jobs, because Colin's kind of semi-famous for being on a TV show that was really unpopular. But it was a quiz show, and apparently he won it and put some money away from it. But their job is to pretty much interview old people that work at the town's stronghold of a factory, pretty much where everyone worked all their lives, whoever lived there and had any kind of success. And they tape record these old retired people that currently work at the factory, and they work with the boss's daughter, Lindsay Wells. So that's pretty much your platform for anything else to happen. Another minor complaint I have here is when they're taping the interviews and stuff, it just seems kind of like a weird medium to use to do a documentary, or to kind of, take an archive of your whole little town is by tape recorder, because I don't know when this is meant to take place, but I get the feeling like 2005 or something, 2006, 2007. So it seems like, people would have small little cameras, when they can take shots of people, and that actually make a better documentary instead of I guess putting voiceovers off of footage that you show. I'm just trying to get into the minds here. I don't know how you display the media that they take, but it comes back later to make more sense, I guess. So it's a minor complaint. It's not a real big one, but it seemed kind of off that someone would still use a tape recorder, I don't know, to chronicle stuff like this, when in today's age cameras are so cheap and easy to get your hands on. Minor complaint. Sorry to get off on a tangent here. The funny thing about this book for me is I was just reading it every bathroom break. Every time I took a shit, I read this book a little bit by little bit, and a little bit by little bit by little bit by little bit. I guess, once or twice daily. Too much information. But when I got to the hog hunt, it just really took off from that point on. If I can use a Michael Scott type analogy here, it was like watching some Chinese kid lay all these dominoes down really close, like really tight, shot in. And then when they get to the hog scene, it's kind of like they just pull back and they just trip those things off, and you watch this beautiful display of motion. To me, that's what it's like, because everything else is like setting up for the hog hunt and things that go after that. It just puts everything in place, if you will. So I really couldn't put it down after I got to the hog hunt. I mean, I just laid down and read the rest. I just stormed through it about there on in. Another cool thing about this book is I really like how the scenery is described and stuff. I think that's a really, it's really important in books so you can imagine what things look like. And I had a good imagination to be able to, you know, pull some of this stuff together and understand what the landscapes look like in my mind. Especially, I was going to read a part from it. They drove a couple of miles past the store, then turned off onto a gravel road that wound up a small hill through thick foliage. Hollis hasn't sold this land, she complained, because everybody likes it. The road dead-ended into a long, narrow, one-story wooden house. Two pickup trucks and Jat's Blazer were already parked by the lodge. Tock and Jat, whose jeans were again too tight, sat in the tailgate of one pickup, their legs dangling. Across from them, a middle-aged man was seated in what appeared to be a plastic chair stolen from a third-grade classroom, examining the muzzle of his shotgun. They all wore camouflage pants, long-sleeve camouflage shirts, and bright orange vests. To me, I mean, that just resonates really in my mind, the little part about the third-grade chair, because I could see it. It's like, it's either blue or orange, right? And it has those 3 slits in the back, like they all had for some reason. And it has, you know, the shiny metal legs, and it has the weird little round footings for the ground. And I see it like, it's kind of, it feels out of place, but that's how a lot of places are in the South. Like, you'll see this, like, really nice, not nice, but kind of like a cool antiquing looking building of, you know, just a brown wood building. And then you'll see this, you know, tacky little, you know, bright colored chair out there, and it resonates with me. So I just thought I'd point that out. Just some of the imagery here is just really strong, and I really was able to kind of delve into it. But to, you know, even out a pro with a con, one of the cons is Colin himself is not really that likable. I guess, you know, you're supposed to kind of root for him, and he's, you know, he has problems. He's not perfect, and that's part of the reason you're able to relate. But also, it seems like he's almost, I don't know, too unlikable for me. But then again, that could become a pro, because at times you can imagine yourself as that person. Sometimes when you see a character on TV or in a book who has less than the average amount of charisma, you're able to swap roles with that person and actually live out, you know, the whole story with yourself in his place or her place. So I kind of like that part too. So it worked in both ways. While he wasn't that likable, I was able to put myself in the story. And when that fight with Talk came about, I was able to take that crotch shot dead on and come right back with one of my own with these pythons on my arms. Oh yeah! I was able to slam him down and tell him what was what in the butt. Also, something I liked was the idea of like this outside perspective on rural life. That's interests me, because, you know, I've lived in it, you know, so I can't really look at it from that outside perspective and see, you know, how you would judge things or think of things or be scared of things. And especially with Hassan here, you can able to really feel for him, because after 9/11, a lot of Arabic people have really prejudiced against, and here he is, you know, Middle Eastern guy having to, you know, be scared at some points, but he's able to also find acceptance. So yeah, also though, something I didn't like was Hassan gets a girlfriend here, Katrina, and I felt that whole thing was forced. I understand why they did it story-wise later on, but sometimes in movies, like, alright, here's one that comes to mind. 10 Things I Hate About You. Just at the end, for whatever reason, they just clump all these couples together with no backstory at all. I remember at the end of that, Tommy from They're Off in the Sun, his friend, you know, got into a relationship right at the end with the girlfriend he had. Her girlfriend's girlfriend. It's just like forced together. It's like, I hate that. It really dislike that, because, you know, if you got a second banana there, they don't have to be hooked up. I mean, it's not about them really. It doesn't have to reflect everything that's happening to you. It could just be, you know, left alone and let them live their own lives and, you know, correspond with the main characters in the plot. It just, I don't know, I just dislike that largely. But the situation itself in the book resolved itself, and I guess I understand it, but it just didn't seem real. It just didn't seem, you know, the story behind Katrina and Hassan hooking up. He's like, they were driving in a pickup truck when we hit a speed bump, and then Katrina jumped in Hassan's lap. It was love at first sight. Oh yes. That's what is that? You know, because you got this slow build with the main character and the main girl, and then you rush in with that little piece of crap, and it just ruins everything for me on that end. I mean, not ruin everything, but it's just like, you know, I just don't like it. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit with everything else that's going on. To me, you could have had the same drama at the end of this without Hassan and being involved with Katrina. It still has the main opponent of betrayal there, without, you know, having the little added on betrayal of that. So, bleh. Blah, blah, blah. One thing I was going to rant about, but did not, decided not to, but I'm going to rant about it anyway a little bit here, but then point out why it's actually kind of good, was some of the dialogue choices for Colin, who is a nerd, and Hassan, who's a fat ass. They say yo, dingleberries is their safe word, fug, and fugging is everywhere in this, is, you know, a replacement for fuck. Thunderstick. Really, just, it hurt my head to read. But then again, like, I could see if it's a movie, those could be like really funny moments. And so, and I think it is in production to be a movie, so those will actually shine better in live action, and actually could be moments where you can laugh. But whereas in the book, I read them myself, and it didn't feel right for the character. But that's just me. That's just me. Dingleberries, man. You went too far. Dingleberries. Dingleberries. Know your limits. You know, just, yeah, that's how I read it. But it's probably like, dingleberries, man, chill on that subject for now. Let's bookmark it. But like I said, you know, the whole book is a nice, slow start, which didn't really suck me in at first. It didn't have me really titillated, as some of the kids say. But until the end, with that hog hunt and everything thereafter, I had to read it all the way through once I got there, because it just kept on getting better. I can't put this down. It's just, there's stuff happening here that I want to know the results right away. And I can read it and know the results. So, it's a nice woven story that really just comes together at the end, and it has a good result. It has a lot of good little mini stories within itself that all connect and kind of make overall good book. I'll give it a good review. So yeah, An Abundance of Katherines. Check it out if you haven't already. I think most people have. You know what's also nice about this book is it's a good story and everything else. But the features on this, I don't know if it's on the hard copy, but on this paperback here, you get a Q&A with John Green. You also get the love theorem kind of explained, which is neat. And what else was there? Oh, you also got like a preview or the first few chapters of Paper Towns. So, I mean, that was interesting. I'd definitely check out another one of his books. And, you know, that's coming, that's a big thing. You know, you think, okay, is this the guy that's reviewing the book says he'll probably check out another one of his books. And so what? Well, it means something, because I've read now, this is the 8th book I've read in my lifetime. So that's a compliment coming from me. That's a big compliment. Take it, you know? Take it. And look, I love this. Brotherhood 2.0. The Vlog Brothers, as they're more normally known. This is a little teaser talking about, check us online, we're on YouTube, or we're doing videos, wow, wow, wow. But the funny part is, the list of their accomplishments here, and this is back in 2007, but it says over 21,000 subscribers. 21,000. That's legit. I mean, that's just great. I just love that. It kind of just, it's just, you know, a book. It's just like this time. It's just captured in time what big was back then, and now you got people. I don't know. Have they passed 2 million yet? It's like Dragon Ball Z out there. It's like, it's over 9,000, and then, you know, Freezer's like 2 million power level and gets surpassed by Super Saiyan. It's just insane. It's insane. I'm sorry, but it's insane. It's like when will it stop? It's amazing. It's been a fun ride for YouTube, I bet. But yeah, John Green, good book writer. You know, I have complaints about everything. I complain about anything, so I hope no one takes it too hard. I know he has a lot of fans, and they want to really grill me and get mad at me at some of my points here. But I just make them in fun and just, you know, to help anyone improve. You know, and some people will say, well, you can't write a book. I don't think you can write a book. How can you critique a book? And I hate that logic. That logic doesn't fly. You know, I can know what a good apple pie tastes like and not have to make an apple pie. Now, it might help in some other things, you know, how to learn how to, you know, refine your taste even more. But I can taste apple pie and tell you if it sucks or not. And trust me, I've eaten a lot of apple pies. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I have. See no evil, Katherines. See no evil. I'm sweating. This light is killing. It's killing me. My hair is slicked. It can't be slicked anymore. It's pretty hair. That's oh yeah, that's pretty tight. I remember this haircut I never did it back in the 1990s, but the 1990s, this was the shit. You know, I remember a kid from Home Improvement had something like this, but it was more severe. It was like blonde. His hair was blonde, of course, but he had like shade, like almost bald on the sides, and then he had, but it all ended at the same. It was kind of creepy looking. I don't know. It was like some futurist child predator haircut he had. I haven't gone that far yet. God bless me. Not that far yet. I need to stop this review. See, that's what I'm good at. The middle, beginnings, I'm okay at. But the endings, I want to be, you know, I just keep on repeating myself is what happened. I'm like, this book is good. Get this book. It's like, yes, you told us that, sir. But I'm like, I want to say more, but all I'm really saying is I like the book, had a few concerns and criticisms, but I still overall recommend it. Was that so hard? No. No, it wasn't.